So yesterday we discussed few services, few resources, and then we started configuring RoboShop project using those resources. So a simple recap what we have discussed till now. Okay, first we discussed namespace resource, and then we discussed pod resource, and we discussed service. So inside service we have cluster IP, node port, and then load balancer. Okay. So by default, cluster IP is the service we create, and then we created config map. Config map is nothing but a key value pair, so that can provide the configuration to the application as part of environment. And then we discussed secrets. Later we discussed sets as parts of sets. We discussed replica set, and then deployment set. So we had to discuss stateful set and daemon set. Okay. So using these resources, we started configuring our project, and deployment pod is a subset of replica set and then subset of deployment. Okay. So deployment is useful for zero downtime deployment. So whenever real-time projects are generally, so instead of creating pod and replica set, we used to create deployment and then config map and service. Service is for load balancing, and then service mesh feature. Okay, so if you have 3 or 4 replicas, all the 4 replicas will be connected to this service as a part of load balancer, and you will use load balancer to expose your application to the outside world as well. Okay, yeah, so this is what we were discussing yesterday, and yeah, so we have our Kubernetes cluster created. So let us start creating our RoboShop again. So you have to build the image and then push the image to Docker Hub, and then you have to run the Kubernetes manifest file. Okay, only 2 things as part of Kubernetes. One is image and the other one is manifest. So image is a physical file that has some memory. So it contains like Docker image. It contains OS plus libraries plus application runtime plus application. Okay, so manifest is informing Kubernetes how to run the image. Okay, so this is what we are doing. So manifest is simple configuration ML file. So we are providing the image. Where is the image? Like join DevOps / so Kubernetes will pull the image from Docker Hub, and then we will tell the Kubernetes how to run the image. So that is by providing some configuration like port configuration, environment config, everything. So only these 2 things matters in entire Kubernetes. One is how building the image, and second one is running the image through the manifest file. Okay, so that is what we are doing. So let me clone this. So first, yesterday we created MongoDB. So kubectl apply -f. So first thing, before MongoDB, we need to create namespace. Okay, kubectl apply -f 01 namespace.ml. So namespace is created. Later go to the MongoDB, kubectl apply -f manifest.ml. So MongoDB will be created. So deployment and then service. So next we created catalog, kubectl apply -f manifest.ml. Catalog is created, and then web, the same apply manifest.ml. KubeNS set it the context to RoboShop namespace. Okay, kubectl get bots catalog MongoDB web and running kubectl get svc. So this is the load balancer. So load balancer is getting created and it will take generally 1 or 2 minutes to register the instances and then health check. Okay, so started. Now if you open this, you will able to see our Robo shop. Yeah, so only one thing I have to do manually here. So in the instances security group, just need to allow the access. Okay, open the security group. This is attached to all the worker nodes. Just edit inbound roles. Generally, we will open particular port, but here it's fine. I'm just opening everything for practical purpose. Now, if you open, so you are able to see the application. So this is the 3 components are working, and then next let us work with Redis. Okay, Redis, we don't have any customized image. We are directly using the image from internet. So yeah, now I can open, I can create Redis. So inside that manifest.yaml. So let me copy something from here, MongoDB. So instead of MongoDB, I'm going to use Redis. Add DB, that is fine. Project app Redis, name Redis, image Redis, but this is directly from internet. So I'm just removing this one. Service Redis, app Redis, Redis port. So Redis is opening 6379. So here also 6379. Okay, so this is Redis. Now let us push. And we can pull here. I'm just keeping Kubernetes apply manifest in alias. Alias here. Okay. So this is going to be created kubectl get pods. So Redis is already running. Okay. Once Redis is running, we can configure user. So user, I just want to copy the code. We have something. A8 Docker files. Where is it? PowerShell Docker. Yeah, here. Just copy this and then paste the code. This is user Docker file. So let us see what is the document we require. What is the configuration we require for user? So user is dependent on MongoDB, Redis host, and then Mongo URL. So just catalog, just like catalog. I'm just removing this. And then let me copy this manifest here. Instead of catalog, I'm just going to keep user app name user. Image is going to be user. I have to build this image. Config map user, service user, app user, config map user, and then Mongo URL is also user. So Mongo is true, and we have one more dependency, that is Redis host. Redis host is nothing but Redis. Okay. That's it. So now we need to build, push the image and run the manifest. Docker build -t join DevOps / user 1.0.0 dot. Okay, so now Docker login, join DevOps, and then Docker push join DevOps / user colon 1.0.0. Yeah, this is done. Now apply manifest. kubectl get pods. So user is already running. So when user is already running, I need to do something in web. So here inside Kubernetes manifest of web, I need to keep user reverse proxy here. So this is just config map change. So in this case, you no need to build the image. That is the advantage of config map. And just apply and restart the pod actually. So instead of restarting, I can just delete. It will be automatically created by replica set. So this is what the Kubernetes advantage, right? So you can self-healing. Someone deleted or something happened, the pod got deleted. Kubernetes will automatically create through the replica set component. Okay. Now let us see we are able to access user or not. Okay, user is successfully done. So now cart component. Cart component also exactly same as user because all these are Node.js components. So simple, I'm just doing everything step by step from the beginning of the course, right? I'm just copying the same code used by Docker and then just adding one more step, that is Kubernetes. Okay, just check the Docker file. So everything is good here. And then let me copy the manifest. Here. So inside cart, let me create one manifest.aml and here just copy this and let us see the cart. What is it depends on? Cart is depends on Redis and then catalog host, catalog port. Yeah, so these two. So instead of user, I'm just going to make it as cart. Config map is cart. Don't require Mongo URL for cart. We require Redis host and catalog host. Catalog host is nothing but catalog and then catalog port is 8080. Okay, so that's it. And just push pull at docker build -t join DevOps slash cart colon 1.0.0. Image is built. Docker push join DevOps slash cart colon 1.0.0. Kubernetes apply. So here it is saying just keep this also in. like this. That is the error description there. Push pull apply. It created kubectl get pods container configuration error. Kubectl describe pod and then run this. So you will see config map cart not found. So this is the error. Why it is not found? Okay, let me delete. It pull. So we have the config map cart, right? Now apply. kubectl get pods. Cart is running. Now you can change the web manifest, include cart, push the changes, pull the changes, and then kubectl apply manifest, kubectl get pods. Just delete this, you'll get new pod. Okay, so now let us just check the cart functionality. Cart is working. Cart is working. Okay, so and next is shipping. Before shipping, we need MySQL. Let me copy the MySQL code from Docker. These things we can keep them in man config map and then secret. Let me take MongoDB because it is almost same. Because in the same tier. Pasted MongoDB and then going to replace MongoDB with MySQL. MySQL is 3306. 3306. And we need config map also. Just copying this config map. MySQL config. And what are the required things we require? allow empty password. Yes, and MySQL database. It is MySQL user shipping and MySQL password is roboshop at the rate one. You can just keep them in the secret also and refer them as secrets. But for time being, I'm just using config map. And you need to refer this config. MySQL, remove from here. Don't need to manage, because if you manage here, if something goes change, then you need to rebuild and then repush. Full pushing. Git pull MySQL docker build -t join DevOps slash MySQL colon 1.0.0 dot. Docker push join DevOps slash MySQL colon. Apply manifest kubectl get pods. MySQL is getting created. Now it's running. So now finally shipping. Suppose RoboShop Docker shipping repos and then RoboShop shipping copying check Docker file, can keep them as part of config map part endpoint and then db host manifest dot yaml and just copying the user manifest, pasting here, replacing with shipping, and then inside this config map, we need these two. Okay, so this is the shipping. Just pushing. Docker build -t join DevOps slash shipping colon 1.0.0 dot. Meantime, let me just keep the web at the shipping. Apply shipping manifest. kubectl get pods. Oh, I didn't push. Docker push join DevOps slash shipping colon 1.0.0. So generally, what are the errors you are facing in Kubernetes environment? So this is the frequent interview question. You can say error image pull. So image is not available in the Docker Hub, right? So obviously Kubernetes cannot pull the image. And then create configuration, container configuration error. You just saw that. So whenever there is some config map not found, or if there is any error in config map and the command, whatever you are giving in Docker file, if it is not able to run for infinite time, so obviously container will not be able to create. The two types of images. One is error while pulling the image, and the other one is error while creating container. Okay, so only these two types. kubectl get pods. Just let me delete first. kubectl delete -f manifest. Now apply. Now shipping is getting created. So meantime, web and then apply and delete this pod. kubectl delete pod. Now get pods. Everything is running. Just let's go and then check. Add to cart. Check out. Now let's wait for this. Once again, go here, check out. It's not loading. Docker logs. Okay, so container code created, sorry, kubectl logs. Seems some error. kubectl get pods. Everything is running. But okay, so then we will debug this in tomorrow's session. So today I have some personal work, so need to close this early. Any questions? Yes, Santosh.
Hi Shiva. Shiva, we have to give the two ports, right? Target port and port. What is the difference there? Any difference is there?
Target port is container port. Normal port is service port.
Okay, but both of you same, right?
Not same. Service port is different. Container port is different. First traffic will come to service port and then it will come to the target port. So yesterday we discussed, right? Mm, yes, yes. Service for what I have given the name. Modified node port. Here, first request is coming to the load balancer. Okay, and then it is going to the node port. From node port to service. So whenever you are hitting any IP address, you must hit it with IP port number. Right. So this port here is service port. So now I can say, so this is 8080. Okay, so that is service port. And this one is pod port. So pod also will have some port. For example, this is cart 8080. Cart pod. Okay, so service port you can change, no problem. You can change it to whatever you want.
Okay, but target port is 8080.
Target port is always container port. So that is, we already fixed it. If you want to change, you can also do the change, but you need to, for example, if you want to change the Nginx port number, you need to edit the Nginx configuration.
Okay.
So here, if you see Nginx configuration, there is somewhere port number here or any other. So you can see, listen, port number 80.
Okay.
So generally we don't change it, port number 80, because if you change it, then you have to enter. Right now, I'm just entering join DevOps.online. I'm getting this one because HTTP by default open port number 80. If you change it to 8080, then you have to enter join DevOps.online colon 8080. So that looks odd, right?
Okay.
So if you are running facebook.com, what is the port number it is? What is the port number?
Yeah, we don't 80.
80. If you change it to 8080, then you have to enter facebook.com colon 8080. Normal person, like non-technical person, can he understand he has to enter 8080?
Oh, okay.
So that is why all front-end components always use port number 80 for fixed. Internally, you can keep any port, that is fine, because employees, we know. Okay.
Thank you.
Devara Chandrasekhar. Devara Chandrasekhar. Devara Chandrasekhar.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Sir, we are doing this all the building image and creating the contents in one of the spot instance, right, sir?
Yes.
While creating the spot instance in EKS that AML, we didn't mention the any AMI like CentOS or Amazon Linux too. How
By
we
by default, EKS will take AWS Linux as OS.
okay, so but you are connecting with CentOS OS. Could you tell me, sir,
See,
how it?
my workstation is my wish.
Huh,
Okay, this is CentOS. Okay, EKS is worker nodes. So these worker nodes, AWS using AWS Linux too.
yes,
Okay.
sir. Yesterday we saw that while connecting to the EKS instance, you can log in with CentOS and
No,
our
that is
dev.
workstation. So that is workstation. You can see the configuration here. So this is the entire Kubernetes configuration.
Yes, sir.
I nowhere mentioned the AMI.
Yes, sir.
So this one I'm logging in. I never log in worker nodes because there is no need to log in worker nodes. Because everything you no need to log into worker nodes. Everything can be managed by Kubernetes. No need to understand what is going on in the worker nodes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So some of you can start debugging what's going wrong with this shipping, or else tomorrow we can debug. Okay. So then, yeah, if no questions, we can end the session. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.